I think it's very sad that it's come to this, that we're looking at this mediation, because what we've seen is a total refusal by ministers to, first of all, abide by decisions of this House and then take seriously the next step in the process, which is to censure and remove from the service of the House. I commend the mover of this motion for looking at a constructive way forward, but as anybody who's been involved in any form of arbitration or mediation knows, unless both parties approach it with good faith, that process itself will also not work. And it is very hard to see that this government is approaching any of this process in good faith. In fact, it feels like we're dealing with a government of shapeshifters. We heard one day that this was going to be, had been discussed, had been workshopped, this is something agreed. Now we find the government's not opposing it. And more than that, the government isn't even prepared to give the nominated and agreed arbitrator access to the document. This is where the sands are shifting underneath this all the time. And yet again this morning the Minister says, but we're happy to keep on talking. Talking about what? With what purpose other than distraction and time filling? It's interesting to look at the history of this matter. The motion, the SO 52, was debated on the 18th of March this year. It wasn't put on as urgent. It was on the notice paper. Everybody had time to consider it. The Honourable Emily Suval led on behalf of the government with what was clearly a very considered, prepared speech. Nobody was caught on the hop by this SO 52. There wasn't any indication given in that reply on behalf of the government that this was likely to be a Cabinet in confidence document. Given the level of detail in that speech, if the government was approaching this in good faith, it would have been entirely reasonable for them at that point to flag that we'll do our best, but we have concerns this might be a Cabinet in confidence document. It's only sometime in April after the return, which is just marked not lawfully required to be produced, that there are comments in the press about Cabinet in confidence. If this was a real concern, it was a real concern on the 17th of March when the government would have been considering the status of the document. It's a real concern that should have been flagged in that SO 52 debate, and it's a real concern that should be engaged. It's hard to see this as a bad faith argument to deny this House access to the report.